And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Gerald Glass coming right back at you here. Happy holidays to you from the Pop Culture Cosmos, Inside Sports, Fantasy Football, Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. On the latest episode of the Pop Culture Cosmos, it's John Orlando and I talking about the best of pro wrestling for this year, 2024. So go ahead and check it out today, wherever you get your podcasts at the Pop Culture Cosmos. Inside Sports, Fantasy Football, go ahead and check out our latest episodes there. Getting the insight for your fantasy football team while they're in the midst of the playoff run. Go ahead and check it out today. Inside Sports, Fantasy Football. Also, as well, of course, the Lakerholics crew. Go ahead and support them at Lakerholics.com. Our good friends, Empire Jeff TV, covering the Lakers and Dodgers. Also, as well, of course, Lakers in 5, John McCallion channel, Daniel Barry Sports Highlights, yo, also as well, of course, our good friend Legend 350, also as well, Stone Hansen at report_court, and of course, Alfred Esmond, all these great guys, plus, don't forget Joe, not only Simblade, SimbladesWithAY.com, but also as well, Corrupt. His game is coming out. It is out. It's already out on Steam, but it's coming out to other platforms as he talked about on Playback. But it is out and available now on Steam. So if you're a fighting game aficionado and you like to help out the indie crowd at Steam, go ahead and check it out today. And a special deal for you. If you buy it today, buy it tomorrow, or buy it through the 26th, you get a savings of 20%. That's 20% off Corrupt right there on Steam. Also, as well, don't forget, we do also as well like you to like and subscribe. We're still hoping beyond all hope that we can reach 2,000 subscribers before the end of the year. We are still in the running. We still have a chance to go ahead and do so because we are at 1967, just 33 away. Just 33 away from doing so. So go ahead and check it out today. Go by liking and subscribing right there for you. Like, subscribe, do whatever you can to support us. And also, as well, don't forget, we've got memberships. I just put new emojis in there. So you get emojis, badges, the longer you stay. Also, as well, I throw in little tidbits here and there, videos, articles. Throw a lot of good stuff there. We do exclusive polls right there. So go ahead and check it out today. Become a member for just $2.99 a month indeed, right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Well, the Lakers came into tonight, 5th place in the Western Conference, coming off 2 strong defensive victories in Sacramento, playing with a lot of confidence, heading into tonight, looking maybe ahead, perhaps, at the Christmas Day game in Golden State. They once again played the Detroit Pistons, who, if you remember earlier this season on a road trip, kind of overlooked and paid the price for it. And in doing so, they played sloppy. They played a little bit careless at that point in time. And much to L. Rob's chagrin, they lost when they played Detroit in Detroit back on that road trip. A very disappointing loss indeed. So flash forward, you would think the Lakers would be motivated to play this team coming off 3 good wins, 3 impressive wins over Memphis and Sacramento, including 2 on the road in Sacramento. But unfortunately tonight, some of the bad habits we have seen as far as this team is concerned, the up and down, which we talked about ad nauseum over the past few days. You know, I know a lot of you still that want this team to stay together in its current configuration. They think that they have a chance. They think with a couple moves that things can happen. It's moments and games like these that give ammunition to others who don't think that same way, because the Lakers, again, they played once again like they had the 25th, 27th ranked defense in the NBA, like they had a good portion of this year. They played sloppy with 18 turnovers. Austin Reeves, despite a good shooting day of 5 of 9, he had 6 turnovers himself. Again, the Lakers 18 turnovers. Defense was not at a premium. Cam Reddish, Gabe Vincent, Max Christie. Despite Max Christie's good shooting day, didn't give it to you on the defensive end. And with that, Detroit got out to an early fourth quarter 11-point lead and held off a furious Lakers rally in the final closing minutes to get a 114 victory over the Lakers. And that brings the Lakers to 16 and 13, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Go ahead. I'll verify that for you right now. It hasn't. I don't know if ESPN has updated the. Yes, 16 and 13. They're now back down to 7th place in the Western Conference. And here today to discuss today's game is a good man indeed. We're going to have hopefully a big crew with us here today. It is, of course, the man behind Clutch Talk and Lakers Corner. Please like and subscribe today. It is, of course, John Costa. John, great to have you here. 805. Ox IT47 is on his way. Darren, a whole bunch of people. Ron's. Everybody is. The finger pointing is back. And we talk about this as far as this up and down team. You wonder why we say things about how this team, it's just there. It just thinks it does things to stay in that 5 to 12 scenario. So when we say that we don't want to get too high when they're on these highs, John, and they win these games, we want to say, you know what? We're concerned that there might be a fall soon thereafter. And after the Lakers won 3 in a row and looked so good last week in doing so, finally put some things together, we thought, especially on the defensive end. Tonight, John, instead, even with the Lakers shooting 54% from the field, 46 from 3, and 80% the line, they still found a way to not get it done tonight,
John. There we go. Thank you, Joe. Man, this was a tough loss because this was one of those losses that was extremely preventable, right? Especially when the fact of when you look at the fact that we had 18 turnovers tonight, and somebody here in the chat was just talking about how Austin had 6 of those turnovers, and that's one of the first things that I want. That's one of the first things that I want to talk about, because that's one of the first things that I had noted down in this game. Look, guys, as of late, this whole AR and Max Christie defensive backcourt has kind of worked out if you're a numbers guy, and JJ Redick's a big numbers guy, right? Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. So JJ Redick's always about the numbers. So the plus minus has been showing, hey, we got to keep Max Christie out there. Kept him out there. It worked a couple of games, but this is my biggest problem with it, and this is my thing, and this is kind of how I think Gerald and everybody around here labeled me the D'Angelo Russell fan club. I'm president of the fan club, right? Is because this is why a player like D'Angelo Russell is important. Now, before everybody loses their mind and thinks I'm trying to say D'Angelo Russell is freaking God, that's not what I'm trying to say. But what I'm trying to say is what he is really, really, really good at is ball handling, dribbling under pressure, being able to play make and facilitate for others. That's what he's really good at, right? He's terrible at defense, inconsistent shooter. The rest of his game is inconsistent. But that right there, play make for others to get others easy buckets, is what he do for a living. It's his bread and butter. And that's my only issue with not having a true ball handler, a true play-making player in that starting lineup. Because, yes, granted, you have AR, who has the ability to bring the ball up court. But AR, I said this on the playback, similar to Devin Booker. Yes, he can bring the ball up court, but you're not getting your best out of him. You're misutilizing him. The best way to use Austin Reeves is get him in that 2-guard position, where give me the ball in my spot, let me go to work, let me look to score. Not let me bring the ball up court, let me run this pick and roll with AD, see what options we get out of that, and then see if we have the lob open. If not, let me see it kick it to the shooter in the corner. Like, that's too much for a player like Austin Reeves. Not that he can't do that, but that's not what he's best at. So I say that to say, look, JJ Redick, I like the numbers, man, but you're gonna have to switch us up. We cannot keep Max and and AR out there for long, because a night like this is going to show you exactly that. That's just not the player he's built to do. He built to be. But
The
happy to be
ball
here.
handling becomes an issue when those two are on the floor together. That's what you're trying to say. Is that correct?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the ball handling, the playmaking, getting easy buckets, all that. It becomes a lot harder when you have those two on the court.
And that's a
And
shame.
but
Because, well, I was just going to say it's just a shame because, Christie, this was probably one of his best games out there. If you take the ball handling and the fact he cannot play make, that's one of his serious flaws in his game because you finally got a good offensive game, something that people have been asking for from him because he gave you 17 points today and he was the primary defender on Cade Cunningham shooting 9 of 25. So you say if that gets, that should get the job done. But defensively, everywhere else, especially the bench for Detroit was light on fire. Fontecchio, Beasley, these guys came off the bench and they played really, really well. I think that was the difference tonight. Gabe Vincent, Cam Reddish, even to an extent on defense, of course, Connect as well. These guys played soft tonight coming off the bench. And that really was what kept Detroit in the game. And that's what really got them out ahead early in the fourth quarter.
yes, and if I could jump in here real quick,
Oh, all
Rodell,
day, man.
brother,
No worries.
Rodell, brother, I already done
Here
proved
we
you
go.
wrong a couple of times. I already done proved you wrong a couple of times when it comes to Max Christie, but we could go on that rodeo again if that's what you want to do. Which I've gave him a lot of credit for how he's
He
been playing
played
as of late.
well.
He has,
Shot well.
and I gave him credit for it.
He
And I gave him
defended
credit.
well, but he cannot play make at any level right now.
Not
And that's the
absolutely,
problem.
and that's my thing to Rodell's
So
comment.
you need
Rodell's
D'Lo.
he's trying to be
You need a
smart, right? Rodell's saying, what is John saying? Who are moving from lineup? What I'm saying is we need to remove one of those guys and get in a real ball handler who can really play make. So the similar way that I proved you wrong last time when it came to Max Christie, Rodell, we could do it again, brother. And I'm just saying we need a ball handler there. We need somebody to play make.
But D'Lo,
That's what I'm
again,
saying.
he has flaws in his game. It's just, again, every time you point, well, Austin Reeves does this, but he has flaws in his game that detract from the overall thing. Same thing with Max Christie. He did well on both sides tonight. Something we've been waiting for him to do all season is to play both sides of the ball well, which he hasn't done consistently all season. He finally does that today, but he's not going to be able to play make for you at all. That's why you need a D'Angelo there. But the problem is D'Angelo, he doesn't defend well. So it's just it's like all these. If you could combine all these into one player, there you go. But the problem is,
But hold on, no, Gerald. We had the chance to get this all in one player in DeJounte Murray. We had the chance to get this.
DeJounte Murray hasn't had exactly the best of seasons now.
For sure.
New Orleans like
but
5
better than
wins
what we
right
have.
now.
Better than what we have. Absolutely
Right.
better than what we have. As a team, yes, he's struggling, but better than what we have. I would take DeJounte Murray 7 days out of 7 over our backcourt. And I said the same thing, and I said it back then. AR could have gone, in my opinion. He could have been gone for DeJounte Murray. Because that's the player we need.
Joe would disagree with you on that. I'll just leave it at that. But again, he'll be here in a few minutes to talk for himself. So I don't want to.
We could talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got. But again, the Lakers lose 117 to 114. They fall to 16-13. Still 7th place in the Western Conference. Again, when I was talking about for days now, this is where we're at as a team. We're going to have our ups and the downs, but this is what you guys want with the LeBron AD window where it's at right now and the team that's around him. You're going to get inconsistent play like this, John, at some end of the floor. Tonight, again, defensively, outside of what we saw from Max Christie, when you give up 117 on a team, that's not going to be conducive to winning too many games. And unfortunately, we saw that tonight. Despite the Lakers shooting well, despite the Lakers on offensively outside the turnovers executing well on offense, it didn't quite work out. But also here today is a good man indeed. He is, of course, the guy behind Simblades with a Y.com, and support his game once again. Corrupt right there on Steam. 20% off until the 26th on Steam. It is Corrupt, Coreupt. You see that? Positive reviews right there for you. Excellent fighting game indeed. It is Joe Soro. Joe, glad to have you here, my friend. Happy holidays to both you and John and everyone else out there, to your families. Safe and good tidings and blessings to everyone out there. Wanted to go ahead and say to you, Joe, I know that John, before you came on, he was talking about Austin Reeves. I think, again, I've said before, Austin Reeves as a secondary ball handler and as a guy, your sixth man coming off the bench, I think ultimately that's the role he is best suited for. But when you ask him to do too many things and put too much on his plate, that's when you start seeing some things don't work out as well as you'd like. And tonight, Joe, they had him as the primary ball handler at times, and Detroit, exploited that. We've seen it exploited before. 6 turnovers tonight. The turnovers and the defense, for the most part, again, outside of Max Christie did on Cade Cunningham, it was disappointing because that kind of shooting tonight should always get it done, Joe.
Tonight's game was indicative of a typical late December, January, February game. I didn't look at it in any other way other than that, because I've seen too many games and recognize it. And it was more proof that that's what it was, because the last 2 minutes, they almost came back. It was just one of those things where they just could not focus for the first 46 minutes, and then they focused in the end. And unfortunately, Anthony Davis is starting to turn into Al Jefferson right now when it matters. For those of you who don't know who Al Jefferson is, was a former Celtic center. He was part of the package that was traded to Minnesota for KG in 2007. Why did I mention Al Jefferson? Al Jefferson at that time was the player I used to call empty statter. He got stats, but his points didn't mean anything to winning. And right now, AD is doing that in the last minutes of the game. If AD hits a dunk there, which he should have, LeBron's drive and dish was just, it was absolutely perfect. If he dunks that, he probably gets an and one. But because he's soft layupped it or couldn't make up his mind in the air, whatever, that might have been it too. It gave Tobias enough time to probably just focus on the ball, versus if he had not exposed it, it would have either they would have let him dunk it or they would have had to have fouled him to stop him. And then that changes possibly the game. If he makes the dunk and the foul, he has a chance to tie the game. If they foul him, at least you have a chance at hitting one of two, and you're still only down two. Because I don't, with the way AD's been hitting free throws, I don't trust him to hit both. Either one would have been a better chance at what they had towards the end. Although I did like how they executed that play. They actually let them shoot, get the ball back with 4 seconds. Unfortunately, I wish they had, the last play, I wish they had LeBron closer to the three. If LeBron had been a foot or two ahead, he might have hit that shot.
But I think that's why he got the clearance, though, is because he took it that far.
Well, that's why
when he came off that
coaches, that's part of being a good coach, is making sure that you create that space. One of the things that I've always said for years about basketball is, and when there's the discussion of who's the best, no one could get space better than the best. Doesn't matter if it was Larry Bird, doesn't matter if it was probably the greatest one in Michael Jordan. You could say Kareem too, but he was 7'4". It's a little easier for him to get space because there's no one could catch somebody jumping 5 feet in the air while they're 7'4". And then before then, of course, there's this issue of they couldn't stop Detroit on anything, and they were turning the ball over. I believe they scored 20. I believe the Pistons scored 28 points off 20 turnovers. So if the Lakers had just had 5 less turnovers, the Lakers probably win this game. It's a matter of inches at this point in sports. If you look at any sport, baseball, football, basketball, it's a matter of inches. It's a matter of a basket. It's a matter of one pitch can change the entire dynamic of a game. And this is not something new. If Vlade doesn't volleyball the ball to Robert Horry on a pure grip, pure normal, get the ball out of the away from the basket play, the Lakers don't three-peat. That's how close these kinds of games are. And the Lakers are not winning these games because their top players are not hitting the shots at the free throw line or towards the end of games on a regular basis. And then they don't have that other guy. They don't have that other guy that can score when you need it, really need it, despite AD and LeBron. There's always a third guy. If you look at championship teams, championship runs, there's always a third guy. The Lakers don't have that third guy. D'Angelo is not that guy. D'Angelo has regressed the last 2 years. Well, he was great the second half last year, but in terms of his all-star capabilities, he's regressed a lot. Austin Reeves would have been traded to Atlanta had Atlanta not demanded 2 first-round picks. If they had demanded a protected 14, up to 14, basically anything in the, I don't know the details of this, but I'm kind of going by common sense here. If they were able to, because I think there's one of those draft picks, Gerald, I don't know if you can check it. One of those draft picks couldn't be protected from what I heard. I'm not sure. Yeah,
that's correct.
So it would have had to have been a pick that was not just a clear pick, because I'm sorry, guys, I'm not trading a unprotected pick for DeJounte Murray to maybe win. That's not going to work. If you're going to trade an unprotected pick at a time when you might need it really, really bad, I have to get a superstar for that number. I have to get a superstar that's probably still playing by then for it to make sense. So not getting DeJounte Murray had more to do with the fact that they could not give away free draft capital. Otherwise, the Lakers would have traded Austin Reeves for DeJounte Murray. Analytics. I'll put a button on this first segment here. Austin Reeves had a bad game, right? He was a plus 16.
Yeah, he shot well, just those turnovers.
Yeah, he was a plus 16. And I've been reading some things in baseball where the last 20 years, the teams that have the highest WAR is wins above replacement, they haven't won a World Series. The ones that are on top that particular year, none have won a World Series. And when you look at the Dodgers this year, the reason why Dave Roberts managed so well this year was because there was evidence that he didn't go all analytical. So all these plus and minus, all these stats, other than the basics, especially actually the what used to mean something. Like if you had a triple-double, when Sean gets back here, because he always is good at finding these stats, the difference between winning, let's say 10 years ago and before then, when you had a triple-double, I want to see what the stats are hitting triple-doubles in a game before 2010 versus after 2010. And I want to see the win-loss record there because it's changed. LeBron had a triple-double tonight. LeBron had a really good game tonight relative to numbers.
Mm.
And I thought he was doing pretty well getting everybody involved. The problem was their defense couldn't stop anything. And to compound that, Detroit wasn't missing either. Detroit won this game tonight. It did get a little help from LA, but Detroit made a lot of those turnovers happen. And I don't know what Bickerstaff is doing, but it's starting to look like Mike Malone in Denver. It seems like he's got their number. It seems like he has. Someone had mentioned it on a chat and it clicked. I can't remember who it was, but I thought that was a good observation. It looks like Bickerstaff has something drawn up here the last 2 games against the Lakers, where they're kind of confused on how to handle Detroit's offense and defense.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is Joe Soro along with me, Gerald Glassford, and John Costa, Clutch Talking Lakers Corner. Great to have you here. Wishing you the happiest of holidays. Unfortunately, the Lakers got a lump of coal in their stocking just before Christmas, John. I do want to go ahead and give a big shout out to Nick T. Nick T, thank you so much for the super chat. It does help the channel. 6 turnovers for Reeves in the first half. Who told him he was Jerry West? Laker guards can't keep up with the athletic guards, and Connect should start over AR. Your thoughts, my friend, before you want to get into anything else you want to focus on for tonight's game, my friend?
Yeah. I wouldn't personally say Connect should start over AR. I think it just depends on what team you're playing that night and what scheme you're going to try to go with. There are certain matchups where I do think in certain teams we play against, it'd be better to have Connect start and bring Austin Reeves off the bench. But again, I'm going to say the same point that I was saying when I started this show, which is no matter who we have, I need to have a playmaking, ball handling guard to initiate the offense. And even Dalton Connect is not that from what I've seen in him so far. He's also similar to Reeves, like a 2 guard. So that's how I feel on that. But great super chat. But as far as I guess to talk a little bit more about this game, I think that Joe hit it on the head when he said that. Yeah, we had 18 turnovers tonight, and how much did we lose by? Well, we lost by 3, right? Yeah, we
3
lost by
points.
3. Yeah, I'm thinking tripping. Yeah, LeBron missed that 3. So we lost by 3, and we had 18 turnovers. I mean, this was one of those games where had we played bad, I'm reluctant to say like how we usually do because I mean we play bad a lot of the times. Let's be honest here, guys. Had we played bad, this would have been a blowout because Detroit was hitting like crazy. Like let me see. They shot 36% from the 3-point line. I really thought they would have shot better, but they shot 51% from the field, which is kind of wild. And they were hitting some crazy ass shots. I mean, everybody was hitting. I mean, even Joe on the playback was like, "Who are these people?" The 2017 Warriors, because they were just hitting so many damn shots, right? But imagine if we cut that turnover in half. And I don't know off the top of my head, so I don't want to misspeak, but if anybody in the chat knows how many turnovers the Lakers are averaging this year, I'd love to see because it's a heartbreaking loss because not only is it a team we should have beat, but we lost to them twice now. So a team that we should have beat, we lost to them twice, and both times it's been off, self-sabotage. So
I'm looking at it right now. The league leader in turnovers, having the lowest, is the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Lakers normally have 13. They average 13 a game. They're actually pretty good at handling the ball. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th overall in the NBA, according to ESPN.
And to have it
for tonight's game.
So to average 13, 14, and then 18 tonight. Come on, man. That's shooting yourself in the foot. Self-sabotage.
Joe, I want to ask you this. And again, the Lakers lose 117 to 114. They're still 7th place in the Western Conference. These teams between 5 and 12, Joe, again, as we've been saying in your absence, they up and down. Up and down. All it takes is a 2 or 3 game run, and they find themselves on the top of the heap. They lose or get inconsistent in any way, they find themselves right stuck in the middle or below. And it's going to be continuous for this team with the current roster that they have throughout this process, Joe. It just leads us into pretty much what we're seeing as the same, and what we've been saying is the same direction. Again, should we continue to tell our audience, to find different ways, maybe as far as alternatives, or should we just accept the fact that this is probably the way this season is going to go? Let me unmute you. Gotcha.
Yeah, the worry is more with. I'm more worried tonight with Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis playing like Anthony Davis should play against a team doesn't really have a lot of front court dogs. At least that's the term these days. I know
19-10 is what he got.
I know Jalen Duren looks like a superhero in terms of his build, but he only shot twice tonight. He's not that guy. Shaq said this one time. He said you can go ahead and bring somebody that's got 3% body fat and eats salads all day. I'm still gonna bust his ass.
Do you remember Steven Scheffler, Joe?
Yeah.
That guy was a brick house.
Yes.
But he never became more than just what a rotation 7th, 8th guy in the league.
Yeah. This is basket. This is sports. This is not a bodybuilding contest.
And he was an athlete too, and still just.
Yeah, it's not. He's not a. This is not a bodybuilding contest. That's kind of the point of the whole discussion. Is it doesn't matter what somebody looks like in basketball. Can they play basketball? Anthony Davis can play better basketball in the front court. He can play better than anyone on the Detroit Pistons, including Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris only, what did he do? Played almost 30 minutes. Didn't really shoot that well tonight either. Anthony Davis has to have 25 at least in a game like this. He has 25 in tonight's game. They win the game. Unfortunately, he didn't. He only had 19. And I say this because normally I do defend him because he's usually defending everyone, but they weren't doing much defending tonight. So if that was going to be the case, I would have liked to have seen more aggressive offensive play by Anthony Davis.
Now, let me ask you this, Joe. Sharon B is, and always great to have Sharon here. Thank you so much. I was answering your comment, Sharon, at 4 a.m. With your great response and your thoughts, because again, you were talking about the relationship between fans like us who were always expecting a championship and fans such as yourself who just want to see a good team that competes each and every season. And I thought that was a good comments that you made. And again, happy holidays to you. She said, Joe, that the Lakers will not win 50 games with just 2 players. You need better starters. And this is something we've... Yay! A subscriber! Thank you, Chris, for subscribing. This is something we've talked about ad nauseum since the summer, as far as how the Lakers need to build a better roster. But right now, the Lakers, again, I'll say it ad nauseum again, they're backed up against the salary cap, Joe. They only have a limited number of assets in order to go ahead and improve. So I don't know how many starters or better starters you can actually get with what even if let's say Rob is gone tomorrow and bring in a new GM, I really don't know how much in the way of better starters you can actually get, Joe.
I think we've talked enough about this, and I don't want to talk about it anymore.
I do out of respect to Sharon. So
yeah, the roster construction has been talked a lot about this last summer since the draft. It was terribly constructed, to say the least. Rob did not allow himself to help LeBron and AD with just at least a couple guys that can pick up some scoring. He just couldn't do it. If it's because of mistakes they made a year ago, 2 years ago, I'm sorry, but that's not an excuse. You need to find a way to try and help LeBron and AD not pull all the way. If LeBron 2016 was on this team, that's a different story. LeBron 2016, I would have put against anyone in this league with AD, even in his current state, and I would be very content at probably waiting to see if they could get one guy at the deadline that could just help them in the playoffs. There's just one guy that could do a little bit you could probably risk, sending out some draft capital because you have LeBron 2016. LeBron 2016 is the top 5 player of all time in a single season, without a doubt. So you go with that. However, we're in an era now where he's not that guy anymore. So you need to give that guy. Look what happened when he took a week off. He's been playing well. In any sport, Jeremy, you're probably listening. We were talking about bodybuilding. He used to do shows. I've been around bodybuilding my whole life. Never competed, but I've been around it my whole life. Been in the gym since I was 13. Know that world very well. What is the number one thing that any bodybuilder will tell you? What is the most important thing besides eating? It's rest. Your body needs rest.
Darren. Sorry about that, Joe. By the way, Nick T says, stop bashing AD and focus in on the guards, which John Costa was. John, I do want to go ahead and mention Darren, Merry Christmas, $7,000, because I think the chat knows what happened to $7,000. I'll just say that. Even the Grinch and the Scarecrow improved their basketball knowledge. There is still hope. Truly appreciate the very kind super chat indeed. Let me ask you this, John. I mean, again, the finger pointing happens when we lose to a team that is just shouldn't be as anywhere near us, even with the young stalwarts that they have on that team. And obviously they're going to be a team on the rise, but they're still only a 12-win team. This should have been a team at home, especially playing the way we've been playing with our defense coming into this game. Should have been an easier game to handle for us, but where did it all go wrong on the defensive end? Because again, 9 out of 25 for Cade, that's a pretty good day as far as if you're holding him to that. But that bench shot and scored so well against our both second teamers, but also our starters that they played against. I think that, in my opinion, especially early in that fourth quarter, John, is where we lost the game. I got you.
Thank you, Drew. Yes, I totally agree, and that's where I would say that we lost the game. I'm not gonna lie to you. Early in that fourth quarter, when they went on that 16-4 run, that was when we really. It wasn't even that they were outplaying us. It was like a lot of times, like basketball is a lot about momentum and just energy. Like the energy was going their way, the momentum was going their way, everything was going their way. And also another thing that I do want to mention is that in that fourth quarter, I mean, we were playing their brand of basketball. They wanted to get up and down the court, man. Then they sped the game up. We were playing at their pace. I believe it was Austin Reeves, and I wouldn't doubt if it was Austin Reeves, but there was a play where we just looked extremely sped up. Like, and basketball, you got to be able to play at your own pace. If you're getting slowed down by the defense or getting sped up by the defense, like you're playing right into their hands. And then also, besides that fourth quarter, that 16-4 run that they went on in the third, I want to pull this up here. Yeah, both Cade and Tim Hardaway both had 8 points, so they were getting whatever they wanted. And we kind of got no contributions from anyone really in that third. So if I had a point to where, I'd say that 16-4 run in the fourth quarter, and then just letting Cade and Hardaway get off there in that third. That's where I had to point to somewhere where we lost this.
Congratulations to Alex Caruso. Joe mentioned it as well in the chat. He got a 4-year, $81 million contract extension. I guess they must have missed that NBA Cup game where he was the primary guard or defender against Giannis, but he has obviously gelled well with them in OKC, and especially for a guy he's 30 years old, Joe, and he's getting this contract. That's a lot of belief in a player right there. Something I wish we would have had in him from one Rob Pelinka instead of making the commitment. It's funny how things work out, John and Joe. THT and Alex Caruso, the decision that was made. Where's THT now? Barely on the Chicago Bulls roster. And where's Alex Caruso now? Getting paid.
Not only that, but it's the way they let him go. Not even a phone call, not a thank you. Maybe they said thank you, but it didn't sound like Caruso got that message when he was being interviewed after that season. It was just they haven't contacted me. That's what I read. It's just kind of some more evidence of how these guys have kind of run the Lakers and how they don't really have any manners. Any manners for a guy who played an integral part in helping you win a championship. You don't want to sign him because you're worried about the salary cap. Fine. Give the guy some respect. Call him. Don't call his agent. Hey, Alex, we love you. We thank you so much. You'll always be part of the Laker family, but we're going to go a different direction. Would that have been hard? Yeah, these little hints, guys. And it's not just the Genie Buses or the Rob Pelinkas. This is how a lot of people are in the world. That's why communication is so bad, because people don't give a shit. They act like they do, but they don't when it matters. It doesn't matter. And if you're going to continue to blame guys like Austin Reeves and Max Christie for not being hims, I'm sorry, folks. If I'm going to blame AD for tonight's loss a little bit, he is making $50 million a year. And he had a shot at pulling the team at least by 1 point, which basically means he could have guaranteed that they were going to get another possession, probably with some time left, if he's aggressive in that shot. He has had issues coming up big towards the end of games. You damn well better believe I'm going to blame him. He's the guy. He's him. He's like that. But he hasn't been that. And he needs to start being that. Why? Because he's Anthony fucking Davis. If you think I'm going to sit around and wait for Max Christie to be him, then you're going to be waiting until Jesus comes back.
Hey, man, that might not be long, though.
Right.
Enbe, we said he had a great game, both on offense and defense. His playmaking, he doesn't play make very well at all. That's where the problem lies. He can't help you there. But again, he had a very good offense and defense. This is probably, in that sense, his best game of the season, Joe, as far as on both sides of the ball.
Absolutely is.
When you have a company and you hire an assistant secretary. That assistant secretary, hey, maybe she does very well in keeping the morale within the office doing well. She's getting the donuts. She's getting the coffee. She's making sure everything's available with paper. She's making sure that there's never, ever a problem with ink. Right? Cool. There's a value there. But then if the stock goes down or the company's starting to hurt because business isn't done well, am I going to go blame the assistant secretary or the motherfucking CEO? Anthony Davis is either the CEO or the CFO of the LA Lakers. That's how it works. So don't sit there and tell me you need to blame the guards. There is no guards on this team. These are role players. And 1 out of every 3 of these guards plays a shit game every game. They just kind of take turns. You got to know what this team is. You can't sit there and blame someone for not being something they're not. Now, what Max Christie did very well tonight was he was open in the corner and he made that shot. And that's what we really, really need him for. That's where he can be comfortable. Doesn't have to do too much other than make the shot. I'm not expecting him to be a ball handling guard. He doesn't have that capability. He doesn't have lateral movement that's going to blow by every player that he plays against. That's not going to happen. He's not John Morant. Okay. He ain't going to post up anybody either and create space and find the open man that's streaking or diving or going to the corner for a three. He doesn't do that. His job is to play solid defense as much as he can and hit the open shot. Reeves, he has a little bit more, I guess, a skill set. He can get to the paint. He can draw contact. He does make that floater. He does make that shot when there is contact. Absolutely. And on occasion, will hit a three, but he's also not going to be going in between his legs and trying to get, separation somewhere. Now, as far as the turnovers, sure, it was a detriment. Absolutely. But he wasn't the only one turning the ball over. Okay, there was 18 turnovers by the team. And not only that, they couldn't get back on defense to stop. 28 points from 18 turnovers. That's just not going to work.
Transition defense again, Joe, was an issue.
Right. And these guys are young, and a lot of these guys can run. Cam Reddish can run. Max Christie can run. A lot of these guys can run, and they're young. They should have enough energy to get back on defense when something goes wrong, but they weren't able to close lanes off. They weren't able to stop anybody. And then again, I want to be very clear here, guys. Detroit did not miss shots tonight very, very well. They were making shit that you're just like, all right, this just looks like it's their night. Sometimes that happens too. I would say this. The Lakers lost tonight because the Detroit Pistons played better. The Lakers didn't play as well as they should have, but I'm still going to go with Detroit played better tonight. They made shots all game long until the last 2 minutes. And then when you had your opening, one of your stars couldn't close it again, or at least try to give you a shot at winning. And that is the difference. You go look at all these games from great players. They win these games. They steal these games. I'm not saying AD's not great and LeBron ain't great, but there also is a time where a lot of those guys end up coming up lame at some point, whether it's age, whether it's burnout. I don't know if they're burnt out yet, but there's way too many of these losses in these close games, and that's what's killing them. They should have won 4 of these kind of games. The Detroit game in Detroit, I thought that was a dud from the beginning. I don't think they had a shot there. They had a shot to win this. They shouldn't have lost to the Magic. They shouldn't have lost to Atlanta. Those games kill you when you lose them. And it's unfortunate, but tonight's game came out the way it did, and it sucks more because the Lakers aren't in a position to lose these kind of games with the way they're playing. They need to win every game they can win when it's close.
Once again, it is the Lakers losing 117-114. John, are you still with us, my friend? Okay.
Yes.
Wanted to hear your thoughts. I guess Xbox says Connect is getting roasted a lot. I don't know how. I mean, he was good in the first half, but in the second half, he didn't play. Well, okay, John, you play basketball all the time, but
yes,
you go and take your shots at halftime. You go in and get your shots, then you sit down, and you don't play again for, let's say, in real time, not game time. A quarter and what? Coming in at the beginning of the fourth quarter is what? Probably with the fourth quarter timeout before, just before the fourth quarter, probably about 20, 25 minutes of real time before it gets to that point. For a shooter, that throws you off.
Time, Gerald.
Yeah,
Gerald. Oh my God, I'm so happy you said that shit. That shit is so real. That's so real. Like that's a part of the game that I feel like so many people sleep on. Like it's all about. I say this all the time. It's all about rhythm. It's all about touch. Like I say this, when a basketball player sees one go through the hoop, it's like, ooh, hell yeah! Like I felt the way that I shot that. Everything felt good about that. I'm just gonna do that again and again and again and again. But if you don't have the opportunity to shoot, and what you're told to do is be a shooter, and like how you said, Gerald, 25 real minutes of just sitting on that bench getting cold. Now you're coming into elite, most high-level competition basketball, and you're just asked to make shots. It's hard. It's hard. It's extremely hard, and I think it's a part of the game that not even just in the NBA. I think all levels of organized basketball. This is a area of the game that's really really slept on, especially because like a lot of the times in any high level basketball, you have roles. Like this is not 24-hour fitness where we're all just trying to have fun, trying to score. Like everyone has a defined role on the team, and it's so hard when your role is to shoot, but you've been sitting on the bench for the last 25 minutes. And now you got to come in and shoot. Very, very hard. So, um, I mean, if he is getting roasted, if he is getting bodied for his performance, I tell you what, it's by a whole bunch of people who just look at the box score and clearly aren't really watching the games and just don't really understand that basketball and numbers are just not black and white.
Yeah, and they are spotty, and that's the problem. He can't ever get in the. We saw it once he got into a rhythm, it was great. But I'm not going to fault JJ for one reason. He had when he started to go downhill, he still was starting, and he didn't make the most of his opportunity. He when he started to go ahead and just fall off a cliff, but he was still getting 28 to 32 minutes. He didn't get back that opportunity that he once had. So he's gonna have to work his way back into as far as that roster again. He's gonna have to work his way back into confidence with JJ and LeBron and AD as far as being a focal point once again. I think he can do it, but it's going to be an up and down season because that's what a rookie season's all about. He hit that wall. Unfortunately, he hit that wall as a starter and right back up to trying to work his way back up in the lineup again. But yeah, roasting Connect at this point as a rookie, just like you guys don't want us to roast Max Christie as a young player, it's really hard to do at this point in time because you're getting, as a young player, so many different outcomes because of the fact that they're just learning how to play the game at this point in time. So, Joe, I want to bring it back to you. Uh, where's it? Oh yeah, JY is in the chat because JY said, I'll paraphrase here about the Lakers, because we don't have, those trades. He said, panel, there's no significant trade coming. Hate to be the Debbie Downer guys. I agree. I don't know with what assets you have, Joe, and we've talked about this ad nauseum. What assets can you really get to make this team a whole lot better? Sharon does say, and she's correct, we're two superstars and a whole lot of inconsistent role players to go along with it.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. And you have to hope that someone could pick up the slack. I don't know if D'Angelo Russell's going to come to life again like he did last year after the new year. If the Lakers had D'Angelo Russell of the second half last year now, they probably win 3 or 4 more games because of the way he was shooting. Even if his defense hadn't improved, his shooting would have propelled them. I don't understand what the deal is with D'Angelo Russell. And if there is a trade to be done, I think it's time that he's an integral part of that trade, even if it's for someone that might be not as talented as him. But I think that experiment needs to go. If anything, try to maybe find someone that can actually contribute consistently game in and game out somewhere, either with ball handling, either someone that's a big, will be thin at guard, but at this point, I think he's more of a detriment than not, because he's just not doing what this team really, really needs from him. He's not making those shots. If he's not making shots, he is useless. And tonight was one of those games where it's magnified so much. You have a all-star who's still young with a skill set that is, when it's on, is as good as anyone in terms of shooting, scoring 5 points. He has all the opportunity to have as many shots as he wants. He's only played 16 minutes. hitting 1 of 5 from the field. Come on. What is going on there? You have Darvin Ham, who off and on couldn't, get him to go. JJ can't really get him to go. It's a D'Angelo Russell issue. There is a value in that contract. There is a value in him. There is an expiring value. So there might be a chance that the Lakers could trade him for someone without giving up draft capital, because the asset is in the expiring contract. If there's a team out there that has a contract that matches his, but maybe is an extra year or two, and that player is good, I don't know who at this point. I don't know who would make the difference.
Because
really.
everybody that has been mentioned by Laker Tom or everybody in the chat or all the rumors, LeBron Wire, Lakers Nation, wherever, all of them have some sort of baggage, Joe, and all of them have some sort of flaw or reasoning behind why they would want to trade them to the Lakers.
Okay, so give me 2 names. Let me see what Laker Tom had in his bag.
I think, because he doesn't really like Jonas, I think he wants, as a big man, he is leaning towards Robert Williams. And obviously a lot of others out there have been talking about, especially in Denver, but the Lakers as well, bringing in Zach LaVine.
Okay, first of all, Williams is going to require draft capital. Valanciunas is going to require draft capital. And Zach LaVine is going to require half your roster and draft capital.
Cam Johnson, how about him?
Draft capital.
They all will take draft capital.
The Lakers Rob has to find a team that wants to get out of an extended contract for a viable player so that they can have an expiring contract for 2 months.
Let me ask you this. Cam Johnson, Schroeder just went for some seconds. Do you think Cam Johnson can be found for seconds?
I don't know.
Or a late first?
I wouldn't give a first for Cam Johnson. Sorry.
Okay. I'm just asking.
I can't. The Lakers can't give away any first, honestly, unless it's a legit 3 guy.
And that's my fear.
And even those legit 3 guys, what I mean by legit 3 guy, legit third star, they're probably going to cost too much to where you're not going to be able to match contracts anyways.
I.e. Zach LaVine.
Now, here's the thing with Cam Johnson. Are they going to look at that contract and say, we get to get out of this for the last 2 years? He's got 2 years left at 22 and change. That might make sense. Let's say, all right, guys, we'll take, maybe Brooklyn says, all right, Rob, we'll take D'Angelo's expiring contract plus another whatever to match the 20, what is it? What's he getting paid this year? 22 million, 22 and a half? Yeah. We will give you Cam Johnson for D'Angelo Russell's expiring contract plus a couple second-round picks. I think that there's a possibility there because they get out of those last 2 years paying Cam Johnson. And that could help. That could help a lot, actually. That would be a deal that would really, really help. The only problem with that is Cam Johnson's a forward. This team needs a guard or a center. They have enough forwards.
Do they?
You have LeBron and you have Rui.
Do they actually have a
You have Reddish. I'm not saying that these guys are world beaters like in Rui and Reddish, but this team, if you remove a guard from this team, it's just going to make it much hard. Austin is going to have more on his plate, and LeBron is going to have to play more minutes.
Do they have a really reliable 3-and-D wing? Reliable?
No one in this league, other than maybe Milwaukee, has a true 3-and-D. Actually, I don't even think he's a 3-and-D.
I think Houston has a couple that they've got some. Smith has played well. Thompson's starting to play well, although his shooting wise, like you said, still needs to be improved there. Boston obviously as well. They have the best 3-and-D forwards that are out there as far as the set together. So I'd say watch out for Houston.
Here's the bottom line. I'd rather have Cam Johnson forward than D'Angelo at this point, but understand that he can't play guard and he's not going to be a big man playing underneath trying to get rebounds. But he will maybe help them. It may help relieve a little bit of the score. They might have someone that could score a little bit.
What's he shooting this year? I'm going to check that. That's a good question right there. He is shooting on the season 42% from three and averaging 19 a game.
Mm-hmm. The question now is,
he's going to go for more than seconds, Joe.
He's going to go for more than seconds. Somebody else is going to give him more.
Those are good stats.
And they're going to want a first.
Okay.
What is Brooklyn trying to do right now? Why would they trade Cam Johnson? What's the point? You're talking about a guy who's 28 in his prime. You want to win, right? Why is there so much noise that they want to trade Cam Johnson? I don't really understand.
Yeah, there's no way Xbox Ben Simmons getting traded. So yeah, we would have to get him on a minimum next year. He is there. He is probably the most solidified guy almost anywhere in the NBA because that $40 million comes off the books at the end of the season.
So yeah, so what's the goal for Brooklyn? Are they going to want to drop enough salary so that they can go after someone like De'Aaron Fox in the summer? Is that going to matter? Is that going to help?
I'm surprised Mike Brown wasn't fired today. I'm sorry. That was my bad.
There, John?
I thought I was on mute.
That was me. That was my fault. Sorry.
That's hilarious.
That's hilarious. That's okay. That's just our playback chat. Yeah, that's our playback chat coming to hit us right there at the post game. A big shout out, by the way, to Magic Man for being on the playback. Truly appreciate it. He headed up the playback. John was on there. Xbox, Dan. Oh yeah, and Joe and I as well.
Yeah, Sean, you can suck it, by the way, too.
Oh man, you got to be mean. It's Christmas time. Do you really have to go ahead with the downers, man?
It's not Christmas. Christmas is in 2 days.
Holiday, whatever.
For Mark, it's Christmas. Yes. Oh no, never mind. It's Christmas Eve.
Sharon says, "Are there any hidden gems on the bench anywhere?" So, John, I'll bring it to you as the man behind Clutch Talk, covering the NBA. Are there any hidden gems on a beach anywhere? On a bench anywhere? I would say beach anywhere. Yeah, that'd be great. Xbox would know about that. But is there any hidden gems on a bench anywhere in the NBA? Cam Whitmore.
Honestly, oh man, Cam Whitmore would be amazing, especially if we would have maybe drafted him. I don't know.
Would you guys trade Reeves for Cam Thomas? That's a good question, NBA.
I wouldn't, honestly. I honestly wouldn't.
He's got an elite level scorer, yes.
Elite level scorer. But
does Reeves actually play substantial enough defense more than Cam Thomas?
No, I'm not. For both, I'm not thinking about the defense. But and both are definitely offensive minded players. But Cam Thomas is a shot chucker, like a real shot chucker. And against Brooklyn, on Brooklyn, doesn't look as bad. But when you have LeBron James and Anthony Davis, sometimes he can take some of those shots. You're gonna be like, "Yo, what the was that?" Like, did you see Anthony Davis?
But didn't Joe just say we needed a third guy that could come in and he's averaging 20, but in those days where LeBron or AD are not playing as well, can get you 30?
Ooh.
I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
No. Great point. Is Cam that guy? I don't think the Cam's that guy. To be honest with you.
All right. I'm just asking. And he doesn't play good defense. I get it. But again, I'm just saying when somebody asked in the chat, Austin Reeves for Cam Thomas, I would certainly think about it because again, Austin Reeves, how much better defense are you getting from him? He did a great and sensational job on Jamal Murray in Denver outside of those last shots. One of his was his, yes. But when you hold somebody to that kind of field goal percentage, I think that's you're giving your best output there. But overall, in this time in the league, yeah, he's been not a great defender, and we saw that a little bit of that tonight. But yeah, it's, again, I'm just when it comes to Cam
Absolutely.
Thomas, but there's just not that many options we can go to. That's the problem with the assets that we have. We don't have a treasure chest like OKC of draft picks we could throw at anybody, or young players we could throw at anybody like Houston. Even New Orleans, I'm surprised New Orleans is just given up, and they haven't done anything yet to try and improve their team. So they've just given up on the season because they have a myriad of draft picks and some young guys that they could throw at for a big trade. And so that's kind of surprising the way that is.
For the
But
love of God, please don't let them win the lottery again. Please.
I'll let you control the mute, by the way, John.
Please please don't let those guys win. The basketball gods, we've seen enough New Orleans Pelican first overall picks. Please stop.
Liberty, great to have you here. New name, fresh name, everyone. Who makes the more impactful trades, Lakers or Clippers? That's a good question. Let me throw that to you guys. Who makes the more impactful trades?
They're not that far off from not being able to do much either, honestly.
But they're like us, but they are getting Kawhi back, but they did get Zubats for a bag of chips.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything at this point. They're not going to win anything. Kawhi's not going to be healthy at the end of the year.
No, they're not a championship level club.
No,
even with
I don't really think there's going to be. They may make a move, but I don't think it's going to matter either for them.
John, you got any thoughts on that as far as the Lakers or Clippers? Who makes a more impactful trade?
Honestly, I would say they're in a better position just because they don't have a LeBron James. Like I've told this to when me and Joe's talked about this. Like I think we're stuck between a rock and a hard place as long as LeBron's here, and we're not going anywhere of significance with LeBron here, unfortunately, unless he gives back that money that he took, which just isn't happening. So I would honestly say the Clippers probably are in a better position to shake something up and make something happen. The only way I see us getting out of this situation, guys, like faster than LeBron just retiring, is if some star ends up just demanding his way to LA. That's the only way I see it, to be honest.
Agreed, Legend, with what Joe was saying as far as no more Pelicans first overall picks. Anything but that. Did you see that Mike Breen took a shot at Zion the other day when New Orleans was playing the Knicks? I thought that was hilarious. He said, there's Zion Williamson. I'm paraphrasing. If you guys look it up, I'm paraphrasing again. But he said something to the effect, guys, Mike Breen was taking a shot. Oh, there's Zion Williamson in his most familiar outfit, his street clothes. I thought that, coming from Mike Breen, I thought that was really harsh. So we'll leave it at that. But what if Zion, Joe, gets offered to the Lakers?
I would take him.
You've said that before. Can you tell and explain why that you would?
Because I want to see how he would play away from New Orleans.
Me too.
I want to see how he would play away from New Orleans. But at the same time, I would feel more comfortable with Pat Riley getting him than Jeannie Buss. I don't know how disciplined our leadership isn't that disciplined and kind of forthcoming.
What team? Okay, let's just say he could go to any team right now. Which team do you think he would be most likely to flourish? John, I'll start with you first.
Miami Heat. He needs to go to an organization that's going to put that stick down and say, you know what? This is the diet you're on. This is what you're doing. And I don't want to hear nothing about it. And this guy right here is going to follow you everywhere you go and make sure you're on this type of time. And if you're not, you're just not playing. They're not going to play that.
Yeah, Miami would be the best place. Miami can get rid of Jimmy Bucket.
Good pick, John.
Bring in Zion and turn him into. Look, if Shaq could do it back in 2005, Zion can do it. The only problem with Miami is that's the biggest distraction in the country, especially for virile NBA players.
They've not had really a good season so far. Plus, the Jimmy Butler saga drags on.
And Jimmy Butler is he's I wouldn't say he's cancer. He's a nuisance. He's a nuisance. And another reason why this collective bargaining agreement has become a disaster is you can't get rid of nuisances or people that aren't willing to play anymore. And that's something that has created a lot of the problems too. There's other things from 5 years ago, 4 years ago that started it. But right now it's the inability to get away from bad players on teams. Even the fans don't want to watch this crap. You're not giving the hometown team a reason to come watch Jimmy Butler because he doesn't give a shit to play. Zion won't stop eating to give for New Orleans to give a shit to watch him play. So this whole thing with we don't want player movements so that teams can keep their players, which is the dumbest thing that I've ever seen a commissioner do. And I've been around the Roger Goodell era of hypocrite, piece of shit, cocksucking motherfucker. Okay, that guy's a piece of shit when it matters. But because he makes money and people are obsessed with money and gambling, it's allowed. He doesn't give two shits about player safety. Look what he's done with the kickoff, one of the more exciting things in sports. Look what he's done with guys aren't making it out of 16 games. He wants to add another game, and he does. And now he wants to add another game. And then there's an extra playoff game. Oh, and he schedules two teams to play 3 games in 11 days. But he cares about player safety. Adam Silver was supposed to be different. And he came out of the gate awesome. But as soon as 2020 hit and he let the players dictate based off of some social agenda, social situation, whatever, he's never gotten the team back. And then he killed his league even more with this horrid CBA. But they got their $76 billion contract, so he doesn't give a shit, right? No one gives a shit. But here's what's going to happen. You're going to get Anthony Edwards, who's going to be F the refs, F this, F that, after you all agree to this shit. Just like the running backs in the NFL. We don't have a market that's fair. We're important to football. No, you're not important to football anymore because your dumbasses and your agents and your owners decided that the quarterback position was the end-all be-all of your league. Why? Because you couldn't take a couple weeks off not getting that pay. If you had done that, you wouldn't be in this position. You'd be making more money now. The NBA right now, with this new setup, until somebody adjusts to it, and it's not going to be Rob Pelinka, and it's not going to be Jeannie Buss, that has to do just as much with me wanting them gone than it is their inadequacies. They're not capable of adjusting to this new philosophy in the NBA. You need someone who's forward-thinking and is going to be able to work around things. Like a good tax person for the rich. Regular middle-class schmucks like us, we don't have those guys doing our taxes. We have normal people doing our taxes. It's the same concept. You need guys in that ownership box, executives in that box, creating a workaround with this particular system. Otherwise, you're never going to get past these problems. It's a lot of things. It's a lot of things that have happened the last few years. And it's all been a 20-plus year run of trying to eliminate the Lakers from doing what they're doing. They were the kind of the seed that created all this because of whining bitches like Mark Cuban, Dan Gilbert, and that fucking idiot in San Antonio, Greg Popovich. Great coach, one of the best, but a whining bitch when he doesn't get his way. And I'll say to his face, all that bitching and whining that motherfucker did after the Paul Gasol trade, and anytime somebody one-ups him like the Lakers had, after what that motherfucker did in 97 And in 96, making sure that David Robinson sat when he didn't have to so that they could have a shot at getting maybe Tim Duncan, and they did. Hypocrites, guys. What? Don't waste my motherfucking time and don't be a hypocrite. Don't put words in my mouth. Anything else, I'll take on. And I'll take on those things too, but I'm going to react to those things. Don't say I said something when I didn't. Don't be a hypocrite. And don't waste my fucking time.
And please don't.
That hard. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. And right now, based off of what we're seeing here, what is the end game? We have, what, 6 weeks? 7 weeks. Something's going to have to happen that we didn't expect. It's going to have to be that. If it's something that we expected, it's probably going to be, at best, a lateral move. And maybe the Lakers do what they did the last 2 seasons and play above their heads for the last, 22, 23 games. And then are they going to lose the juice? I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see.
And please don't say Joe's opinion is the same as John's opinion, or the same as my opinion, which is the same as the Laker Tom's opinion, is the same as Sean Grice's opinion, the same as any of the panelists' opinions. We all have different voices. We may agree on a lot of things, but we all have different voices. So when you make your comments about, oh, well, you guys said this and that's, and it's just like, you could tell it's just the comments from one individual. It's usually Joe. Say it specifically about that person so that a specific person can respond. Don't put a blanket over the entire channel. We really would appreciate it if you did.
Well, what they do is they think that you're enabling me. Folks, this isn't CNN. This isn't MSNBC. This isn't network television where we have to worry about ads. Gerald doesn't tell me anything on what to say. John doesn't say shit to me on what to say. I say what the fuck I want, when I want, how I want, anytime I want. You got a problem with that? Go ahead and voice your opinion or your whatever. And that's how it works. That's America. America's, you're entitled to think what you want to think.
It's called free speech.
It's called free speech. It goes both ways. You can't have it be one way. Then it's censorship. That's it. And all this stuff is relevant. All this stuff is something you all need to remember, because a lot of these guys that are around, and it could be anything in your life too, pay attention to what they say. Pay attention to how they react when shit don't go their way. I'm upset. I'm upset with the Lakers setup because there's just not enough knowledge in how to make this work. What happens when you're not able to make it work? You find a way to make it work. You don't just sit there and do the same thing over and over again. It's just not gonna work, especially in sports. LeBron is a year older. AD is a year older. Those are your two stars. AD is not a spring chicken, although he's still somewhat in his prime. He's still not a spring chicken. Can't look at his age the whole way because he's been playing since 2012. That's a long time. A lot of guys play a 12, 13-year career. And hell, if LeBron had played 13 years, if LeBron had retired 9 years ago, he still would have been one of the best ever. Right?
Absolutely.
I have a theory. Yeah, let's say if he retired after the 2016 title, he would have been one of the greatest still, even then.
Facts.
So, by the way, I want to mention ESPN has it listed 18 turnovers. Mike Trudell was just on Twitter saying it's 20. So if you guys see 20, or maybe that's what NBA.com has, I'm just letting you know what I go off.
That's what I saw on Sportsnet before I came on. It said 20.
Okay, so ESPN just, again, 18 turnovers, man. Get their act straight. But that's what I was going off of. So, let's just say 20. Doesn't make it any better.
That number doesn't matter. All I know is for sure, whether it was 18 or 20, they allowed 28
Still bad.
points.
Yeah.
The 28 points for the turnovers is what really you want to focus on.
And fast break was 24-11, just in favor of Detroit. Just want to mention that as well. But, John, let me bring it back to you. And while Joe will never be the guy inducting Popovich into the Hall of Fame with that speech he just gave right now, he is right in a lot of what he said.
2014, though, G. 2014.
I would have loved to have gone up the stage and just said,
the best coaching, arguably, I've ever seen.
Okay.
By a coach.
You cannot
deny how great he is.
Yeah,
but he's a whining bitch, and it started after that Gasol thing.
I'd still love to see you get in the tux and just go up there on stage and do that.
No, it won't look good. Me yelling at some old man, it's not going to look good.
Did excellent. He was just. How can you argue with the great coaching job in 2014? By the way, he's a whining bitch.
It's the whining bitch part.
Here he is now, Hall of Famer.
It started before because he, and it was even before then. Like how when somebody tells a joke too long, you're like, you're not really joking now you're starting to get stupid. Those Craig Sager interviews, you're not funny.
He was just an asshole to him.
You know who was funny? Phil Jackson was funny. That motherfucker was funny. That guy would say shit like apologizing to horses on live TV. That shit was funny. I'm not saying that because he was a Laker coach. I was laughing at shit he was doing in Chicago too. But come on, let's be real here, okay? Slava Medvedinko ate a Snickers bar apparently this one day, and that's all he had all day. Ended up passing out in practice or whatever. And their interview, poor bastard passed out. And Slava's not like a mean guy. Like, he's a nice guy, too. They interview Phil Jackson, and he's like, that's a real juvenile diet. I just lost it. I was like, dude, the guy almost died passing out, for all we know. And it's taking a giant shit on him. And then even before then, what does he call Radmanovich? Didn't he come to practice wearing
did he call him a space cadet?
Space cadet. He called him a space cadet. And Vladimir Radmanovich, that's who I was talking about, came into practice and somebody had heard the conversation and said it like Vladimir did. He goes, "You call me a space cadet." What is a space cadet? He didn't know what a space cadet was. So he was asking Phil, what is a space cadet? Oh, man. Look, they protected. You're supposed to protect the league. You're supposed to protect those players and those teams that are making your league viable. I'm sorry that New Orleans and Minnesota and Indiana and Charlotte and Orlando are not the epicenters of the NBA. I'm sorry, guys. They're not. You aren't. No one gives a shit. Did anybody give two shits about Denver winning a championship 2 years ago? No. That's why Mike Malone was pissed off. He's like, why do these guys keep talking about the Lakers? We kicked their ass. Bro, you kicked their ass once. Congratulations. But this is the LA Lakers, bro. These guys are the number one in the entire planet. Number one brand of basketball in the entire planet. That's not going to change for a very long time. So what did the league do? They've kept on stretching that out. They kept deflecting. They kept listening to the Popoviches and the Mark Cubans. And, these guys, they're supposed to be the powers of industry types, but they turn into tulips when they don't get their way. And then they get pissed off at somebody else when they get pissed off. Hypocrites. Hypocrites. So now what?
Tell him, Joe.
What do you want me to say? What do you want me? You don't think I'm paying attention? I think there's a lot of people that don't pay attention. I pay attention to shit. When someone's talking, I'm looking at them and paying attention. If you say something and then contradict yourself, if I know you, I'm going to tell you, hey, what's up? You just said that you liked flowers, but then why aren't you taking care of your flowers at home? You said you like flowers. I know if I like, I don't know.
Watching the Lakers, I'm going to watch the Lakers.
I like my lemon tree. And yet the lemons are all dead. Well, do you really care about them then? Are you just saying that? I don't have any sympathy for hypocrites at that point, and these guys have rubbed me the wrong way.
So let me get John back in here. John, in the comments, I've been seeing LeBald Lames Hater.
It's a pretty funny name, by the way.
He was saying LeBron choked again. But after that, the comments are back and forth on
Tonight?
LeBron. That's what he said. LeBron choked again.
I knew
Where did they hit that layup at the end there?
Hold on.
Even Darren said he played well tonight. Even Darren said he played well.
I knew that was going to happen, guys.
Go ahead, John.
When LeBron missed the shot, I was like, watch. Here's going to come all the LeBron haters out the woodwork saying, oh, he choked. It's like that one
Even
time.
Darren said he played well tonight.
If Darren's saying it, then come on. But look, I think it was in the finals when LeBron had maybe not the finals. There was some game winner. It was a couple of years ago when he ended up passing it. And he was on the Lakers. Hold on. Was this in 2020? It was in 2020. Remember when he drove and then he passed it back out to Danny Green at the top for the three, and then Danny Green ended up missing or some shit like that. And then everybody was saying oh wow, LeBron is so scared. Jordan would have took that shot. LeBron's scared of the moment. And it pissed me off because I remember being like, no, LeBron actually did the right basketball play. He was open. Danny Green was open, so he kicked it to Danny Green for the shot. Right here, that was a good shot. I mean, even Joe said it on the playback. It's an open, good shot.
Wish would have liked it closer, but still, I get it.
But to your point, Gerald, he was open because he was kind of that open because of how
he went through the screen.
And LeBron can hit that. I'm not saying LeBron and Stephen Curry, but LeBron can hit that. And with that much space, I thought that was going to be cash. I'm not gonna lie.
Darren said LeBron cannot hit a three, though. Well, here we go, because Darren always has to have a caveat. He did play well, but LeBron cannot hit a three in that last minute or two with the game on line. He has missed 30 in a row.
Okay, so LeBron, since the Cam Reddish pass last year, has taken upon himself to hit the last shot. He's not passed to anyone since. That's I've watched all the games. It has not happened. If he's going to miss that shot, he's going to miss the shot, but he took it. I just wish it would have been closer. Would have been much easier if they set it up that way. Okay, I get it. I got to go look at it. I don't know. I saw a lot of area at the front. I think if anything, LeBron had a chance to possibly. I know he wanted to get it in within rhythm, but I think LeBron probably should have stepped up a couple feet and taken a closer look. But go ahead.
I just want to say I disagree with Adam. He's saying that AR or D'Lo should be taking the last shot because he said they're better 3-point shooters. Past couple seasons, AR has not been a better 3-point shooter. In fact, he's been around 35%, and LeBron has been statistically higher on higher volume. So that part is not correct. D'Lo, last year, he was at 42 to 44%, if I remember. So I could give it to you there on that one, but not AR on that one. It's because statistically,
you put the ball in your best player's hands in that moment. I know there's multiple coaching styles. I know a lot of people believe different philosophies. I'll tell you what, and this is the philosophy I've seen every successful coach in my life ever implement. Last couple of seconds, you put the ball in your best player's hands to make it happen. The ball was in LeBron's hands.
Here's how this should have played out, folks. AD should have dunked. Even if he didn't get up and one, they're down one. Okay.
Now LeBron has, from earlier season, he was in the 40s. He's down below Austin Reeves. They're both right around at 35% now.
If AD dunks that ball, they're down one, and they do exactly what they did in terms of letting Cade Cunningham run the clock down, make a difficult shot. They miss, get the rebound, and they have a 4.7 second chance to win. Now you can get the ball to LeBron in movement going towards the basket, and God help you.
Now they're saying, though, that AR hits more clutch threes, though.
God help you. Now, here's where it's okay for LeBron to pass. If they collapse on him with 2.5 to 3 guys as he's getting to the basket, you're going to either have AD for the dunk real quick. That's what you got to prepare for, or you got a wide open shot for someone.
But that was JJ calling the play, Joe, on that one. That was clearly meant for LeBron to shoot because
right.
JJ
But I'm talking the scenario
the
if they were down 1. It's a different play that you're running at that point. The Lakers have to. The Lakers, they're not making that play at the end of games to get themselves in the correct position to do things that are going to be a little easier for themselves. It's just not happening. I don't know what else.
Darren says we don't got an automatic bucket getter, no Kobe on this team, so we lose most of these close games.
No Kobe on almost
Kobe was not
teams in the league.
Yeah, Kobe was not an automatic in those clutch. He was very good at times, but his overall shooting percentage, nobody has like a 40 or 50% shooting percentage in those clutch moments. You take a look at the great players, the Jordans, the Kobes, they all would surprise you as far as their percentages are concerned. I just say, look it up and you'll see they weren't as automatic as you were saying it, but they wanted to take the shot. The fact that they were willing to take the shot, I think, is part of the mix. There are some players that definitely shy away, guys, when in that moment. They'll play the 38 minutes of the game and they'll shoot and they'll do what they need to do. But in that last 2 minutes, some guys do not want the ball in their hands.
Well, I think the only thing that we didn't see a lot of towards the end there with Kobe is the buzzer beater type stuff.
Yeah, because he doesn't have a great percentage on those buzzer beaters.
The last 3-4 years, yes, but he was pretty good before then.
I'm just saying overall, that's what I looked up a few months ago, and it wasn't as great as you would like to see it. I'll just say
when you watch the flow of a game, when Kobe was there, he made shots that weren't considered last-second shots. He would propel the team. Like, let's say if they were down 3 with 4 minutes left, that they'd get to 6 or 7 within a couple minutes because of his relentlessness. And then it doesn't become a last-second shot. That's another statistic you want to look at. It's hard because you have to go watch the games, but that was something he was really good at.
He has 26 game-winning shots in his 20-year career. That's amazing. But he was also 7 of 28 on shots in the last 24 seconds of games and 5 of 22 in the final 10 seconds.
Adam, real quick. Adam said you can say put in your best players all day, but when's the last time Braun hit a last-second shot, and how many close games do we lose? Okay, so let's talk about this, right? I never said have your best players shoot the ball. I said put the ball in your best player's hands.
But it's also JJ Redick. You got to understand, Adam wanted AR to take that shot or D'Lo to take that shot. I get that. We were actually on playback talking about seeing if for his confidence, giving it to connect for that last second shot. But ultimately, JJ drew up the play for LeBron. So ultimately, Adam, whoever you have a beef with on that, you have to talk to JJ because that's who drew up the play specifically for LeBron to take that shot.
Facts. And again, if anybody in this chat is going to tell me that's a bad shot, I'm going to tell you don't know basketball because that was a great shot. That was a great open shot. It just didn't go in.
Here's an issue with LeBron. I'm gonna placate our audience here. They're saying something that might be true, but they're not articulating it well enough. When the Lakers need to close a game with free throws, it's true. They don't give the ball to LeBron. They either try to get it to AR, and a lot of times it ends up in AD's hands because AD shoots 83, 84% from the free throw line sometimes. That is one thing that I don't like about LeBron's career is that he doesn't like when you needed a free throw to close a game out, the ball was going to Kobe. The ball's going to Jordan. Ball's going to Chris Paul. Ball's going to Dwayne Wade. LeBron is not getting that ball towards the end of the games because they're worried about him missing. And that's not good. But if you're down one and you have 5-6 seconds, create a damn lane for him and let him get to the basket. That doesn't happen enough, and it needs to happen every time. And again, if they collapse on him with 2 or 3 guys, then I'm not going to be upset if he gives it to the wide open guy, because if they can somehow get somebody diving with him, he can get him that ball, and then they can dunk it and win the game. Or if he's got to pass it to someone that's got to shoot the ball, then that's what you got to do. It's a lot of pressure at that time. It's easy for us to say it here, sitting down, not worrying about it. A lot of times the other team is playing it well to where it makes it hard for them to do it. The reason why Kobe missed a lot of open shots towards the end of his career, those last second shots, was because he had 2 or 3 guys on him. They did not let him try to make the last second shot.
Sharon says Shaq. He's asking Shaq in the mix on that.
Shaq never got the ball at the end of games. He happened to get fouled in certain sequences, and he made the free throws, but they never deliberately tried to give Shaq the ball to try to close out a game with free throws.
That's why Kobe got so many opportunities, correct?
Right. And Phil has already been noted and quoted saying that he unleashes Shaq for 3 quarters, and then the 4th quarter was Kobe finishing it off.
Yeah. That's a great fucking duo. I mean, I know it's so clear, but
you can't deny that they weren't great. Okay, these guys didn't even get along, and they three-peated.
Man, and I'll tell you what, chemistries make or break a team. So and they three-peated with bad chemistry.
That was the amazing part: turning it on and turning it off. I've never seen any team. Roy Williams said this about Jordan. He goes, he never turned it off.
Darren says, Joe, that was a lousy articulation of a fact. That LeBron cannot hit a 3 when the game is on the line.
What do you mean?
I don't know. That's what he said.
Joe, that was a lousy articulation of a fact. That LeBron cannot hit a 3 when the game is on the line. I wasn't talking about him not hitting the 3. I was talking about him get to the basket.
But he couldn't because they were down by 3. Would that AD miss have counted had he had slammed it? Because if they had reviewed it without being a foul, the basket would have counted, and they would have just taken the ball out. What's going on with AD in that clutch moments as far as just the missed free throws? I think it's bothering him. Yeah, they almost lost. Now he has his wife calling him up and say, Rui saved you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Serious. Check that out, John.
I heard. I didn't actually look into it. I see little stories like that, but I'm like, I don't have time to
the one where Rui got the offensive rebound,
and then he missed 2 free throws. AD's wife told him Rui saved him.
She called him after the game to make sure to let him know that Rui saved his ass. So yes, there you go. That is. It's sad too because this guy hit a game-winning 3 in a playoff game. And he's averaging 26, and
I don't know what happened. And
12.
This guy, he didn't miss a free throw for almost an entire playoff run.
Yeah, and he's shooting close to 80% now.
So I don't know what changed. I don't know.
Well, on that note, it is of course John Costa, Clutch Talk and Lakers Corner. Before we head out, before we get a final word from Joe, want to hear your thoughts, my friend, on what's going on with Clutch Talk and Lakers Corner.
Yes, please, man. Everybody, if you guys want to stay up to date with everything I got going on, I got 2 channels you can check me out at. You can check out Lakers Corner. It's on YouTube. That is a Lakers page, as you guys can guess, bringing you game recaps. I just went ahead and did the game recap for this game. I talk about like some trades that we got going on, news and all that. So please go check that out on YouTube. Also check me out on TikTok. Almost at 7,000 followers on TikTok.
What's TikTok?
You don't know.
I would know. I got banned on TikTok.
It's at Lakers Corner 24 on TikTok, and if you guys want to get at me on Instagram, it's Lakers_corner. And then for Clutch Talk, NBA Talk Show, check me out on YouTube, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and it's at Clutch Talk Pod. But besides that, appreciate you guys and love being here.
I always love having you here, my friend. Always a great part. By the way, you guys want to do a show tomorrow, Joe, and do a nightcap tomorrow. It's up to you. I will not be available tomorrow night, but I will, of course, be available on Christmas Day. But yeah, if you guys want to do a show tomorrow, I'll schedule it and then hook you guys up with that. But Darren's saying, oh man, Darren's getting back and forth, even more holiday greetings sent to each other. Darren says, let me start in 2007. Okay, not so good now. On to 2011. Oh, that's horrible. 2014. Next, what? Old man Duncan beat you. How is Joker doing against you?
Darren, suck my ass. How about that? I'm tired of you. And your bullshit. How about that? You like that? That's clutch. That's a clutch period on the night for you.
You finally got him, Darren. You finally got him. Xbox.
You're just finding little holes everywhere, trying to plug them up with your ding-a-ling. Enough. I get it. Now, I'm not going to call you a troll. You're not trolling. You're just being obnoxious now.
Hernan, what's up, Hernan? How you doing?
And you want to play? If you want to play arguing back and forth, obviously, you know what I'm going to say next. Get your ass on the show and let's battle. Let's really battle.
Xbox.
You want to talk stats? You want to talk stats? You want to talk facts? You should call the show the Lakers Facts Break.
Darren, I'd love to have you.
I like that actually.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. Darren,
you know how many shots LeBron has, folks? 17.
What did you say, Joe?
You know who has more than 17?
Yeah.
No one.
Kobe. Well, Kobe has what, 20? But are you talking about active?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, active. Yeah, active players. So, Hernan, great to have you here.
What do you want LeBron to do? You want him to hit 40? You want him to hit 50 game winners instead of 17 or 20? How about Anthony Davis getting a perfect pass by LeBron? Perfect pass. How about he dunk it? He's 7 feet tall.
Just go with aggression.
Just dunk the fucking ball. And we're probably not having this conversation.
Probably.
We're probably not, because I believe they would have gotten the ball back with a 1-point deficit, and they probably have a better chance at getting that basket and winning the game versus trying to hit a 3 or 4 seconds left.
Hernan, wishing you and the family a truly Merry Christmas as well. Xbox, AD watch continues. He shot 1 for 3.
You're right.
He's
You're
barely
right.
above 30%.
Stats are for wannabes. You're right. But winning and losing is a stat too, baby.
Barely.
That's the most important stat.
And he's got more than anybody playing in the league.
Hernan's asking me.
What do you want to do?
Do you think we can trade?
Will you shut up and let me talk? Jesus Christ. No one cares about the goddamn holidays right now. We're talking basketball.
Hernan was going to ask if we think we could trade for Jimmy Butler.
Man, fuck Jimmy Butler. We don't want Jimmy Butler. Why the hell would you want Jimmy Butler? For what? And how the hell is that going to happen anyways? The guy makes $400 million a year. What is that? What is this? Who asked this question? Hernan
did. Yes.
No.
Right.
No. We don't want Jimmy Butler.
I need to go take a shit. I'm gonna be honest with you guys.
No.
You guys are the best. I love you guys, and I'll catch you guys after I poop.
I'll see you. I'll see you, my friend. All
right, guys.
Take care.
Sorry, the sauce is starting to kick in.
Okay, there you go. He gets a little bit even more ornery when the sauce kicks in. truly appreciate everyone joining us. Once again, the Lakers do lose 117 to 114. Darren, I would love to have you on the show to go back and forth with Joe.
Darren,
it would
your
be fantastic.
bipolarness. Yeah.
He's been very gracious individual, Bart, as far as supporting us on the show. He is very opinionated with us, and he's obviously very opinionated when it comes to LeBron, and he has the right to do so. But yeah, it is what it is. The LeBron debate will continue. I'll see you, Joe, after we're off the air. 5 more comments on LeBron, one way or the other, and most of them are usually negative. We'll see about the Lakers. The same thing. Blow it up, or let's see if we can pull off magical trades to get some players around. We're in the spot again, continuously. It's like up and down, up and down. That's what this team is. The team is exactly the way it is. I know somebody in the comments about a week ago said, I think the team has better players than what our record indicates. No, they don't.
No.
This is who they are. This is actually on the top end of who they are. A 4, 5, 6 game above at best, above 500 team, and that's if LeBron and AD playing at a high level and getting some help from their supporting staff. So this is what you're going to get. But they've got to play defense. It was also mentioned in the chat, when they play defense, they win games, and they didn't tonight. They shot amazingly, but they couldn't do the same thing as far as play that well on defense, and obviously couldn't take care of the ball, and led to a 117 to 114 loss. But J1 says, "Hey Joe, can you start putting a pause on certain statements, please?"
Like what?
Like what statement, JY? Okay. Darren's a big supporter of Kobe. Yeah, one of the greatest ever to play the game, Darren. I would never disagree with you on that. But those last clutch shots, last second clutch shots, they're hard. They're difficult. And Jordan's, LeBron's, Kobe's, the fact that they're willing to take the shot speaks for itself. It's just, again, the percentages are not usually in their favor. JY, just let us know what before we go off the air, if you could let us know. Mediocre players, half are hurt, inconsistent, no leadership called like it is. It's a mediocre team. It is what it is. And I know that there was mentioned $7,000 and said that this is the way he wants the team, as far as with the Lakers having the 2 players and just being always in those play-in mixes, and that's what you guys want. Absolutely, by all means, because that's what we got. They certainly don't have enough to compete at a high level, at least not yet, at least not now, and that's what we're seeing. So, Joe, any last thoughts before we head on out? I don't see Jay.
Yeah, it goes back to very low margin of error.
Yeah.
When you don't have the correct players that can kind of supplant the stars, any little mistake is going to cost them. They can't make up that small little deficit enough. And that's the issue with the team. They're just not talented enough in certain areas that can win games like this consistently. I'm still waiting for JY to tell me what exactly does he want me to pause on.
Yeah, that's why I was leaving us on for a little bit more. So if you could let us know, we'd love to hear from you.
I don't care. Look, guys, I don't care if you get mad or try to. Okay, hold on. 80 is a top 75 player. Where does he rank in your opinion, G and Joe, among big men? Is that what you want me to find? Is that what do you want me to pause on?
Yeah, we weren't sure on that, but that's a good question, JY.
Yeah, AD is definitely top 75. Absolutely.
Of all time?
Oh, yeah. Oh, hell yeah. You're talking about a guy that's won on every level and has a Hall of Fame career right now.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But against the elite, the Jokic's
50? I might have to kind of look at the list, but 75, yes.
Yeah, 75, I do.
75, yes.
Pau Gasol is better according to Xbox.
See, here's the thing. He's not a better basketball player than AD, but I feel that Pau Gasol was much more valuable than AD for his career. That's kind of how I look at it.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, it is great to have everyone here. I'm wishing each and every one of you the safest and happiest of holidays. Again, if Joe wants to do a nightcap or John wants to do a nightcap, they have the channel for tomorrow. It is, of course, me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching, listening. Truly appreciate you joining us. Please go ahead and support Joe by going to Steam right now and ordering yourself a copy of Crypt, Coreupt. It is 20% off until the 26th. So hopefully you'll take advantage of that. Joe, any last thoughts before we head on out? Because I don't think JY...
Still waiting for JY so I can put a button on tonight's show.
I know. It's like we're all anticipating. What did he
Did you make a mistake, JY? Did you speak ahead of what you were thinking? Now you're shy?
All right. Well, on that note,
I'm going to give you 10 seconds.
Careful. Joe gave me 10 seconds and he was mad at me for it. So
no. You won, Juan.
Merry Christmas, Juan. But we will be back, of course, Christmas Day. We're going to do playback.
You better not answer this when we get off air. I want to be on air. I want to know what you want me to pause on. I'm genuinely curious.
It's going to bother him all night. All right. I think we got
Bueller.
Bueller.
Bueller going to the Red Sox.
We're losing our audience anyways.
Going to the Red Sox.
He might have left already. So,
okay.
But yes, great to have everyone here. Wishing you and yours a truly happy holidays and Merry Christmas if you do celebrate it. It is, of course, the Lakers fast break. Lakers lose 117-114. Again, if Joe wants to go ahead and do a nightcap on Christmas Eve, I'll set it up for him then. But we will definitely be back Christmas Day. Of course, it is the Lakers going up to Golden State, playing on prime time, as only Curry versus LeBron can do it for everyone out there. But of course, join us for all the fun on Playback, playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break, and of course, the best post game in town, the best Christmas post game that's out there for the Lakers will be nowhere else, but of course, right here at the Lakers Fast Break podcast. Happy holidays, everyone. Be safe.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!